Hi everyone, my name is Christina Loback and I'm an immigration lawyer at Spousal Legal. This is video number 6 in our series on Canadian spousal sponsorship. In this video, we are discussing the government's requirement to provide evidence of the relationship between the sponsor and the principal applicant. As part of the spousal sponsorship application process, the Canadian government requires that a lot of different pieces of evidence be provided to them. The evidence requirements focus on different things, so identity, status in Canada, civil documents like a marriage certificate, things looking at admissibility, financial capacity to sponsor, and of course, proof of relationship. As a general line of division, evidence requirements are different for couples who are currently living together versus couples who are currently living apart. So for couples who are currently living together, the government expects to see evidence that you are, in fact, living together. This takes the form of things like a provincial driver's license showing the same address, or joint bank accounts, maybe utility bills showing both of you listed at the household, and other joint bills. Oftentimes, couples seem to struggle with pulling this evidence together, especially, for example, if the sponsored person is in Canada on a temporary status, like a visitor status. We recommend that you think about your relationship holistically and how you share bills and household expenses. For example, does one spouse cover the other spouse's cell phone bill? In that situation, you can show the credit card statement with the cell phone charge highlighted, as well as the cell phone bill itself. Now, for couples who are living apart, the government wants to see proof of contact and proof of visits. So, start taking some screenshots of your Facebook Messenger conversations and your text messages. That's solid proof of contact. If you communicate by other means, email, phone calls, video calls, etc., you're going to want to provide evidence of that as well. Now, you don't need to include every conversation or message between you and your spouse or partner. Typically, 5, maybe up to 10 tops pages of evidence will be adequate, although, of course, it really depends on your personal circumstances. Now, proof of visits is one where we often see in our office people trying to avoid. So we're located right on the Windsor-Detroit border, so we support a lot of cross-border couples who see each other on a regular, often weekly basis. We usually pull a copy of the Canadian sponsor's I-94 record for their border crossings, but beyond that, we strongly encourage couples to record their visits with each other. Honestly, it really tends to be helpful if you have a detailed record of your border crossings for more than just spousal sponsorship applications. It's going to also help when concerns about crossing the border too much or dual intent issues arise. Beyond that, we have couples pull records of tunnel or bridge toll payments, flight records from vacations taken together, and things like that to demonstrate that you physically traveled to spend time together in the same place. For couples who are displaced further away, maybe Canada and Mexico, for example, flight records and hotel reservations will be very important to prove your visits with each other. If you've been married for at least 2 years, you are currently living together, you've never been married or in a common law relationship, and you have children together, you aren't required to provide additional proof of relationship evidence. If even one of those things isn't true for you, you'll be required to show more. First, you will need to provide photo evidence of your relationship. These photos should be in chronological order, and you should provide the names of people, dates, and some context for each photo. You can't provide more than 20 photos, but we generally recommend providing as close to 20 photos as possible for you. If you only have 3 photos together, period, well, that raises some questions about the bona fides of the relationship. You also need to provide other proof of relationship evidence, such as evidence of joint bank accounts and shared expenses, evidence that your friends and family acknowledge your relationship, which we typically do through screenshots of social media posts or letters from them to IRCC, as well as evidence that you recognize each other as spouses. Often, this takes the form of being named a beneficiary to employment, insurance, or even retirement account benefits. So, bottom line, it may feel like your relationship is obvious and that you don't need to include everything listed on the document checklist to prove this, but trust me, if you don't, IRCC will reach out and ask for it, and it'll just delay your application processing. Your best bet is provide everything documented to the best of your ability right at the get-go. For more information on Canadian spousal sponsorship, Visit our website at www.csulegal.com.